Hello, welcome back to Northeast Worms and the Chat and Drive show, if you want to call show. So today it's a pretty sunny, it's nice, but the temperature is still under freezing point, and we are expecting actually 2 days, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, 2 days of like snow/ice storms, and with the temperature go down again. So this winter is really crazy, and I really hope that everything will be done as soon as possible so I can work again. Okay, so let's go straight to the topic of this video. So one of the most question I got both on the video here on YouTube and on private is what's the perfect bedding for reproduction bean? We are talking straight reproduction bean, where the main focus is make the worms fatty, happy, and make them breed like crazy, and not main focus of casting. Of course, if you do everything well, you will have amazing casting anyway, but the first the focus, the target is to duplicate the worms like in 10 weeks, and actually, guys, I assure you this is absolutely possible. I have a video about that. I will put here or here, whatever, somewhere, and you will see how this is possible. So there are some rules, if you want to talk rules about how do the perfect wedding for reproduction bean, and I like to break the rules too, just to experiment how things change when you break these famous rules. So the perfect bedding is it's everything about the balance. It's balance about temperature, it's balance about bedding, it's balance about food, it's balance about moisture, it's balance about space. Is the perfect, if exists perfect, but try to find the perfect balance of all these things, that work better for you. Of course, for each species of worms, this balance or these numbers will change. So let's talk about red wigglers. Everybody, the majority of you have red wigglers. Maybe if you have and the species, you are a little more advanced and you know what you are doing. But let's talk about red wigglers with a couple of words about European nightcrawler. Okay. So red wigglers are the most versatile worms that we have in the worm composting world. They have a big average regarding temperature. They can thrive anything between 55, 58, 60 degree till up to 85 with no problem. They will love this temperature and they will thrive in this kind of temperature. So regarding the perfect bedding, I can tell you what my bedding is, for a different reason. So you have to find what the perfect bedding is for you, because if you want to also produce casting, you may need to use a different bedding. For example, you can use like hail and cow manure, or compost cow manure, and whatever. So mine, because I need also to pick up the worms very, very, very easily, I use pit moss, like the base of the bedding. It's just the base. Of course, there are more ingredients. So my bedding is I started to add a little very fine screened compost. So it's a very fine screened compost and pit moss, little limestone, pulverized limestone, and my special formula wormicho. Okay, so the wormicho, the wormicho is the secret weapon to have amazing reproduction bean. You need a very good balanced wormicho with the right percentage of protein, the right percentage of all the other stuff. Okay, so the perfect wormicho is my formula of wormicho for me. after I tested different ingredients separately together and everything, I come out with the perfect worm chow. And you see how my worms are beautiful and big. It's okay. So now let's talk about moisture. Moisture is different for reproduction bean than casting production bean and nursery bean, where you have a majority of your cocoons. Why? Because the worms in a very, very moist environment, they are happy, they like it. So if you arrive at the limit, at the top limit of the moisture, okay, not that of course the worms drown, but let's see right around 85% of moisture. That's the perfect moisture for the reproduction of bean. But of course, because this kind of moisture is pretty high, you can push till 90% actually. So because it's pretty high, you have to check your beans that they don't go anaerobic and they compact too much, because depends on what your bedding is made of. They can go easily anaerobic and can easily go compact. So for the reproduction of bean, you don't want to give a kitchen scrap, you don't want to give another thing. You give only worm chow. All the worm chow they eat, give with no limit. I mean, with the limit of what they eat. Of course, don't overeat. This is the first thing. So the bedding, okay, we talk about the bedding. The moisture level, we talk about the moisture level, okay. The food, we talk about the food. So now let's talk about the temperature, okay. So the temperature for red wigglers is anything between 58, 55 maybe, till 80, 85. We can stretch to 85. They do good with 85. So, but now let's break these rules, okay. Those are the perfect rules. Let's break the temperature rules. And I broke the temperature rule big way, but not because I want it, but because the condition of the warehouse of my wormery. So my wormery average all this winter, there was very, very, very cold. Average temperature was between 40, 45 degrees. With the bedding like 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees, a little more. But actually when I touched the bedding, I worked on the worm, I feel the bedding was cold, was very cold. My hands were very cold after I worked at the bedding. And the worms, they still breed. They still grow less, of course, a little less. I saw they hit a little less. They were a little less reactive when I touch them and I move them. But they still breed. I have a bunch of cocoons, a lot of cocoons. And my nursery beans are exploding. The only things, the cocoons on the nursery beans, they are taking their time to hatch because of the temperature. So, but you know, the cocoons, they, wherever they decided to hatch, they decide, you know, there are no really a fixed rule. So, of course, if it's warmer and everything's okay, high moisture, because the cocoon want really high moisture, maybe are closer to 100%. They will hatch, of course. But if you want amazing, beautiful, and very productive reproduction of bean, those are the 4 things that you have to figure out. The balance that work better for you and for your environment. Okay, so it's bedding again, moisture level, food, and temperature. That is what you want. This perfect balance between these 4 rules. Okay. Again, the rules are made to be broken. So maybe instead to feed worm chow, if you find a perfect formula balance with the real food, yeah, that can work too. Absolutely. But with the worm chow, you have more control, because you have more control of what your worms are eating, and you have more control. That is very important about a lot of stuff like moisture, for example, for example bugs, for mites, for whatever, because the bugs like the mites maybe they are not harmful, or like some fly, you know, so they're things they go in competition with the food with your worms. With the using only worm chow, you don't have any of this kind of problem. You use only worm chow. No problem of extra moisture because the veggies release moisture. No problem of bugs. No problem of larva fly, whatever, go in competition with the food with your worm. You will make the perfect environment. So if I have to say what is the most important rules that you have really to follow to have the perfect and beautiful environment for your worms, so I think that you especially have two. That one is the food, so the worm chow, and one is the moisture level. If it's too dry, the worms are not happy and they will not breed. They will the food will not break down very well. The bedding will not break down very well, and the worms, they go like in conservation mode, so they will stop to do anything and they just try to survive. If the environment is have the right moisture, they will happy like kids at the swimming pool. So they breed, they eat. It's not unusual. I see a lot of threesome. So like three worms, they are doing their stuff, having a bunch of fun. So bedding, you can use a different kind of bedding. Use the one that work better for you. That's okay. The most important thing that is a bedding that they can eat and they break down. Of course, I don't suggest to use coco coir. Coco coir, I really don't like it, but it's up to you again, you know. But I don't like for different reason. Coco coir, it's take a lot of time to break down, don't have a lot of nutrients, and also the casting from the coco coir is like a little chunky. I don't like. I like very fine casting, and the pit moss giving me the perfect finest casting I want. So, but again, make the rule and break it down. So make your experiment, make your research, and find the things that work better for you. Again, for me, there are two things that are the most important things. Again, I want to repeat you, it's moisture and food. Worm chow, my worm chow. So buy my worm chow on my website. I will put a discount code for the worm chow. I will send a massive email with the discount code, and I will write the discount code also down on this video. Not right now because I'm posting the video right now and because I'm on the car, but when I arrive home, and I will set up the discount code on the website. Okay, 15% discount code on the worm chow if you are seeing this video. Thank you guys, and see you soon. I am going to see a couple of different new places, and I will keep you posted. Thank you very much, and see you next time.